Yeah, surprise us with the latest situation.
All right, so we have gotten the latest press release from the BCCI in which the decision has been made to suspend the IPL for 1 week. This has come in the aftermath of the heightened tensions between India and Pakistan over Operation Sindoor. Yesterday's PBKS versus Delhi Capitals match at Dharamshala had to be suspended, called off because of the heightened escalations that happened at 8 p.m. yesterday. Now, the BCCI took this decision on the back of asking the stakeholders, which included the franchisee officials, the players, the broadcasters, the advertisers, everybody of the stakeholders who were there. They have decided to currently suspend the IPL for 1 week because they felt that, yes, nation first. And that is why you are having this current BCCI press release, which is you can see on your screens, that IPL won't be there for 1 week. If the situation de-escalates between India and Pakistan, and if it happens in the next 2-3 days, then there is a possibility that IPL might resume in the same month where it began, and the schedule will remain the same. Whether it will be in any other venue, does the logistics, time, window allow you that only the BCCI will apprise us of the situation once tensions between India and Pakistan de-escalate.
Yeah, so I mean, the first thing that I can see from this press release, which states that it's only been suspended for 1 week, that in itself gives us a little bit of clue as to what is it that the BCCI is thinking. So the reason they've given it 1 week is because they're monitoring the situation, which also can be a ray of hope for not just cricket fans but people at large, because war-like situation is something that nobody would like to carry on. There are lives that could be lost. There's going to be a lot of dent in terms of to a country's economy, as well as infrastructure and so on and so forth. So right now everyone in India as well, even though we're all behind our armed forces, everyone is facing some sort of uncertainty. So as soon as the IPL says 1 week, what this tells you is that the BCCI, and remember, whatever decision BCCI would have taken would have been in consultation with the Home Ministry, with the government sources, and only basis that you'll take a decision. So if they've only suspended it for 1 week, then the obvious inference you can take from there is that they hope things will be fine within 1 week, because if they don't expect that, then they will, and if you want to continue playing, even if there's heightened tension on the border, then you won't have had the need to suspend it in the first place. So clearly you've suspended because you cannot see tensions at the border and cricket happening at the same time. And now if you've said 1 week, then probably the kind of messaging that they've got is that hold on for a week, let's see how the situation pans out, and if after a week you think everything is calm, there is a ceasefire, there is no tension at the borders, by which then you can resume your IPL. How and which way they can do it is something that we'll get to a little later, but that's for later. Right now, the 1 week suspension is, I would say, in a sense, good news, not just for cricket fans, but I think people in general, because as I said, this would have only come after speaking to government authorities. I can also share with you, having spoken to some of our defense reporters and people who know about these things, is that there is this sort of a talk or prediction that maybe by Sunday you might see things really calm down. Because right now, as you know, it's not just the two countries. Now the rest of the world has gotten involved. We heard statements from the White House also this morning, early in the morning. And I was just speaking to, as I said, we are not experts in defense or geopolitics, but what I have spoken to, we work in a large media organization and we have experts in various other subjects. So what I've spoken to subject matter experts, they say that there is a possibility that next 48 hours things can be brought under control from both sides. That is what I'm hearing. But this is again sort of a forecast that they are doing basis on speaking to people in the know of things. That's why they're making this forecast. Having said that, there is no guarantee that that is to be the case. From where we are at the moment, things can also spiral into even a worse scenario. And if that is to happen, then clearly within a week you will hear pushback of the IPL. So that is what it is at the moment. But the 1 week thing is kind of a ray of hope, that they feel that if in the next 48 hours, as is being reported in certain media as well, and as I'm picking up as well, if in the next 48 hours things are brought under control, then there is no need to suspend the IPL indefinitely, and then you can reconvene. Of course, the overseas players would be asked to evacuate, go back to their country, and if in 1 week later you can have the tournament back. I know there are lots of questions, and we can do this as a question answer round. We can try and answer some of your doubts and issues that you may have had, because what the real situation is, we've already apprised you with that. Maybe within us as well, if there are any questions. See, I've got someone.
But after what has really happened, as far as the overseas players are concerned, let's say, the situation does de-escalate in the next 1 week or so. Would you still, as an overseas player, would you want to come back to India to play the IPL, or would you want to, let's say, request, maybe just come together and put in a request to the IPL stakeholders that let's just have the tournament, somewhere outside of India? Because safety is one thing that would really be on someone's mind, no matter what the situation is, even if it de-escalates.
No, that is a point. Of course, they will try and take the opinion of the overseas players. Some might say that no, continue without the overseas players. That is a scenario I don't think can happen, especially in the middle of a series. So I don't think that is something that is going to happen. Having said that, that's the reason that they've asked for a 1 week sort of a window. If the IPL governing council and the mandarins at BCCI do feel that there is difficulty in overseas players coming, or there's some sort of worry that they have expressed, then maybe that 1 week gets pushed and they look at a different window as well. If you ask me, and again, because some of you have asked me that question, when do I personally see it happen? To repeat, I think if what our defense experts are telling me is fine, and if what they're forecasting is true, in the next 48 hours if things calm down, then maybe in a week's time you could see it resume. But if that doesn't happen, because you're in a very precarious position, and if it does spiral out from here, then I will just share it with you that what I have picked up is that team in the IPL, teams within the IPL have sort of been indicated by the BCCI that in the worst case scenario that things don't calm down and within a week they can't come up with a solution and have the IPL resume, then August is the window that they have given to the various IPL teams. Because remember, IPL teams also have to arrange logistics. August is a window that has been given to them. I understand that in August there is 100 that is going on. There is a South Africa,
India, Bangladesh.
Yes, but India Bangladesh series is most likely to be pushed back, is what I'm hearing. So if India Bangladesh is pushed back, then August emerges as the window. And again, this is just preliminary sort of information that the BCCI has passed on to IPL teams. I've only picked this up from an IPL team. They have been told August is the window they're looking at. Of course, they've also themselves, because it's such a short span, they have not worked out modalities. They've just had one round of discussions that happened this morning, the BCCI, and they've taken into account all possible scenarios. So 1 week, if it doesn't happen in 1 week, it has to be pushed back. If the situation does escalate, pushed back longer, then August seems to be that window, in which case, as I said, India Bangladesh gets pushed on. 100 is there, but then I think you will have to find that sort of a formula where certain players miss out on the 100 or play, or those who are playing in the 100 then will have to miss out. You've had IPL in scenarios where there've been international series and certain players are not available because of that, but then that plays out for all teams. Yes, some get lucky, some get unlucky, but this is not a planned thing. If this was to happen, this is a possibility. Again, as I said, this is just initially they've been told August. Yes, there's a possibility if most franchise have an aversion to August because majority of their players are not available. I'm sure the BCCI will also listen to that. But right now, this is BCCI's information that has gone to franchise. at looking at August as the window.
Do you see if things get better in the next 48 hours and there are chances of the IPL resuming within a week, do you see it happening in India, or will there be a change in venue?
No, so I do not see a change in venue, first of all. And again, that brings me to a lot of questions, because when I put this out on social media, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to ask that, a gentleman asked me when I said that August they're going to be looking at, and why I'm taking those questions, because a lot of you will also have similar questions in mind, and our job is to answer those questions. So somebody asked me that, does this mean that we are showing that we are unable to handle this situation? Is this an indication of that? To which I replied to those people that were asking me the question that no, definitely not. It does not in any way show that you cannot handle the situation. I think this is a wiser decision. India could very well have pushed this IPL to the southern part of India. Yeah, there was that gentleman. Does it send out a wrong message that we are vulnerable? Amok had asked me on social media, and to which I said no, because in fact for India it's very easy to organize it even now. You can take it to south of India, you can take it to the eastern part of India, there's no worry at all, and you could have had the IPL. India can very well organize it overseas. I mean, Sri Lanka is a available option, and Sri Lankan Cricket Board and BCCI share a great relationship. You've shifted the Asia Cup there as well. There are multiple options. There's the UAE as well, and UAE Cricket Board has great relationships with India. So you could have, I mean, India shifted the IPL to South Africa also, if you remember, at a very short notice. So that would have been the easy option to take. But you have to understand, and even the BCCI press release gives a lot of focus on that the suspension is not just about the safety of the players or anything. The suspension is more about that how can you be playing cricket, how can you be having a form of entertainment while there are soldiers fighting on the border, when there are families of those soldiers that may be staying in any part of the country worried about their lives, while even the regular citizens of the country are right now uncertain about what to do. Flights have been cancelled, they cannot go to their loved ones or dear ones, or there are places in India that have come under attack even though the forces have done great. Like what if your family is staying in Taran or Gurdaspur or Jammu or Punch, in these areas. So imagine for those families where they have relatives, or the families themselves staying there, or relatives of people that are staying in such vulnerable areas at the moment, or relatives of the armed forces and the armed forces themselves. There are so many people that are involved in this directly or indirectly. I think it would have been very insensitive to be having, and at the end of the day, whatever you may say, you may love your teams or India, whatever, at the end of the day, without mincing any words, cricket is entertainment. It is a form of entertainment. It is a recreational exercise. We may be really fiercely loyal to our teams and everything, and get upset and not eat food when they lose, but it does not compare to the larger picture of what is happening. So I think it's a wise decision. Somebody also pointed out in that chat that if Pakistan can do it, India can't do it. Well, that is Pakistan's lookout. I, for one, don't think what they're doing is the right thing. They in fact are showing how insensitive they are. They themselves have people who may have died, which they themselves are reporting in their own country. They are under attack. There are drones and everything that have been fired. People have lost lives, and so you are leaving your country high and dry and moving out and playing the IPL in UAE. I think if anything can affect the morale of the country, then this is it. And great for Pakistan to do it, to bring your own country and your own country's morale down. That is their choice.
To show that they can still manage it.
That's what I'm saying.
Very stupid.
Yeah, but in that, what they are doing is, while their armed forces will fight, lose lives, or their civilians, if they have been attacked or whatever, or the infrastructure has been broken under severe attack, and those attacks will only get worse, they will have an PSL outside. Well, all the best to them. I can only laugh at that, quite frankly. I would, if my country would to carry on with the IPL, I would not genuinely like it, and I don't think it's in any way showing that you are scared. I don't think India is showing that they're scared or anything. They are being more human. They are being more sensitive. They are being more cognizant of the emotions and the people that are involved. I think in that sense it proves that we as a nation are far more or put our lives and people of our armed forces, their lives far more valuable and respected more than what Pakistan is doing at the moment. But that's their headache. I mean, they want to continue, not continue. That's up to them. But India could very well have continued. They've chosen not to because, not just as a mark of respect, I think it would have been very insensitive to have carried on. So good call taken by the BCCI and the Indian government, which may have advised the BCCI to ensure that it doesn't happen. As I said, if everything comes down in the next 48 hours, there is a possibility of that happening. Now with the rest of the world getting involved and there is hectic parlance that is happening, between first world countries like the US, UK, India, Pakistan, all of that. If that can be brought under control in the 48 hours, then sure enough, have the IPL back as normal. If it escalates, if both sides don't listen or one of the two sides doesn't listen and continues to escalate, the matter will then go on for long, and then it makes no sense to have the IPL.
If everything gets normal within the next, not absolutely normal, but everything if calms down and the intensity is not that much, will the possibility of having it next week is more, or still there is possibility of having it in August more?
No, I think it will take another maybe after this week. It will take maybe another few more days, because then you'll have to call back the players. There'll have to be some arrangements also made.
If the situation gets okay in 48 hours and you know that you might just be able to pull it off by the next week, then all the players can fly back in within the remaining 5-6 days.
I think you really need a
Then
miracle
you
for that
answered your
to
own
happen.
question.
Yeah.
It has
I'm asking which is the possibility of what is happening more.
Again, it has to be a wait and watch approach. We can't jump the gun on what is the thing, because as we said, we are not defense experts. We are right there. Our reporters are right there on the ground. They are assessing. There are defense experts who are doing it. Your next 48 hours are going to be important. In these kind of situations, if there has always been an escalation on one side. If that doesn't happen, then I think you may have some hope in hosting an IPL. But at this point in time, even if you had to play, there would still have been certain issues about, the morale of the players. They'll be distracted by what is going on. You couldn't have hosted it in UP also, because UP also is on high alert. There is a red alert issued for even Uttar Pradesh. There is a red alert issued even for Maharashtra. There is a red alert issued even for Gujarat, not just the border areas. You could have really ensured that, okay, you shift the tournament down south. But then yet again, where the stadium's all ready to handle all the 16 games, that is also another logistical thing. Advertising, everything, broadcasting, all has to be shifted in one place.
All the grounds in India more or less are ready in that sense.
But again, to make those extra necessary arrangements, I don't think you will have to do it in 1-2 days. It may take time. So that is why, at this current situation, it is best to have a wait and watch approach over what the situation is, because it could very well end tonight. It could very well end even tomorrow, but then it can also escalate by today or tomorrow. So that is why it is a really, it's a catch-22. See, this is nothing new. Amidst war, you have called off IPL for 1 week or you're suspended for a week. But then India and Pakistan did play in the World Cup match in 1999 when Operation Vijay was going on in Kargil. You did play it at that time. You did say, oh, no, let us not mix politics with sport. Here, at least we have done we have not done the mistake what the PSL has done. PSL is desperate to get money. Pakistan is desperate to get money.
Other series that will take place. I think there's Australia who are going to take on South Africa in a limited over series. So you might not have...
There is CPL also for the West Indies.
Yeah, there is CPL also. So I think that's also a cause
India
of concern.
India is going to England.
But
India
that is June, July.
Na?
Yeah, June, July.
Yeah.
August, September, there is only India, Bangladesh. There is also...
When do you have the Women's World Cup?
That is in September and October.
October, November.
No, September and October.
Okay, September and October.
Yeah. Asia Cup starting of September until the second, third week of September. After that, you got the Women's World Cup, which will be held in India. But Pakistan will be in some other venue then at that stage. So after that, October, you got 2 tests. West Indies, October 2 to October 14. But then after that, India go to Australia for a limited over series, October 19 till November. You can't have the Australian players from November to January because there is Ashes.
I think it's really going to be touch and go, because you currently have 2 more weeks of IPL, which means that there are round about 12 to 13 more league stage matches. So even if IPL takes situation calms down and IPL takes place, let's say in the last week of May, you would have a double header almost happening every single day. You know, in 6 days you finish the 12 matches, and then in the next week you finish all the playoff matches. So I think in just round about 12 to 13 odd days, you might have the IPL finished, whether it takes place in August or September or in now also, because then you'll also need some time to travel to England.
See, you've got
approximately 2 weeks only left.
See, you got a total of 17
weeks,
days, 17 days to complete 16 games.
But you can have the league stages completed well within the time by having double headers almost every week.
Also, as of now, there's too much gap in the final week because there are just 4 games to be played in the 7 days. Because it's just going to be eliminator, qualifier 1, qualifier 2 and the final. So that gap can also be reduced. So overall, maybe the tournament can be wrapped up in less than 17 days, maybe 15 days.
This has also thrown a spanner into India Ace Tour also. Because you will need the players also. Now, some players will have to go.
But that anyways, we can't
That I
take
think
back
they'll
seat.
remove.
Yeah. They'll have to know.
I mean, it's not
for the
that caveat will
IPL
have to be removed. Yes.
Nikhil, this is one thing that we were discussing before this live, that what happens to the PBK's DC game? Will it happen again, or the points will be split?
No, I doubt they can split that point, that it should start from scratch. I think that's the ideal thing. But anyway, BCCI hasn't given us a clarity on that. Ideally, that game, because it, according to the rules, only if it's washed out game do you split points. In this scenario, most likely that they would want to have, and if you're going to be starting again, no harm in starting it from scratch
Because
and having this game as well.
What happened in 2021 when the matches were cancelled? Matches were cancelled for about 2-3 teams.
Game started from there only.
No.
Yeah.
It didn't. When the tournament was held in India.
Yeah.
2021.
Yeah. And then it resumed back later.
2 games were cancelled. RCB KKR was
But
supposed
there were no split points.
There were no split points. I don't think so.
Yeah, I also
This will
remember
happen again. Yeah, this match
will happen.
Either PBK's DC will resume again. Maybe that will be the first game after resumption.
Yeah, it will be.
And then it will continue at that point.
So there's a question that came to me on social media, which Pawan has put out as well. This is from Happy. So he asked me where I said that, it's the right call to take. By suspending it now, you can't have cricket. So he asked me a question saying, so BCCI did not have respect for the lives of COVID patients when they held it in 2021. And that's a good question. And I really wanted to address that. See that there is a difference there. Multiple factors that contributed to that. One, I remember the country was fighting something internally. Okay, there was no outside threat as such. So you were dealing with it internally. Secondly, a lot of people in that situation, I remember because I was working during the IPL at that time as well, had come out and said, people who had been affected as well, who were admitted in hospitals, they said that let IPL continue, because in this time of doom and gloom, where a lot of people were on borderline depression, said that this is something that, is helping us go through our day. So this is some sort of entertainment. At that time, people, remember, were at homes, not being allowed to go out, and they were going through a lot of mental issues as well because of that. And a lot of people were writing in to say that, no, allow us to watch the IPL. It helps us take our minds off, while we're holed up inside. And a lot of people could not even go out and help in any way. So they felt helpless, and this was one reason. That's why it didn't. Secondly, in those days, if you remember, the biggest issue was people were being laid off from their work and people not being able to make money because the economy had come to a standstill. And IPL employed a lot of people, and I'm not talking about multi-million-dollar deal players, it didn't affect them, but a lot of people, from ground staff to people who put the sponsorship hoardings to people who work in broadcast, who lay the wires for your cameras, camera op. There were so many people, and you would have affected the livelihood of, I'm talking of thousands and thousands of people as well. And that also was a consideration taken at that time, because I remember being part of the broadcast then, and these issues did come up. And it was asked by a lot of people, suggestions by a lot of people that came in, where you said that no, let it continue. It is serving as something for the people at that time to go through their daily lives. What is happening now, I don't think that is the situation. People at the moment are more worried about what's happening on our borders. You need that sort of support. So you're fighting an external enemy, you want to be all together, you cannot be enjoying a cricket match while that is happening. So there is a difference here between why COVID continued and why this has been stopped. Also, there was no direct threat to players and support staff and all of that. Right now, as I said, you have foreign players, Indian players, all away from their families, and they would like to go back to their families. In that case, you maintained a bubble. Yes, as soon as the bubble was breached, there were cases, they stopped it. So, they did follow that. So there is a slight difference between what happened then and what happened now.
It was a strange dystopia, though. I mean, let us admit it. I mean, there was a shot which was taken where there were lots of funeral pyres been lit at Nigambodh Ghat. But there was the same time there was an IPL game going on as well. So yes, 2020 and 2021 were strange dystopias here. I mean, the whole world was impacted by COVID. And at this point in time, see, COVID and an external threat by a rogue nation are two different things altogether. The whole world was impacted by COVID. A rogue nation is unfortunately attacking India. So that is why this is a problem that is there. So, I mean, yeah, there is respect, you can take it or leave it. But then I would ask you, in 1999, why did the government and the board decide to play a World Cup game? When there was Operation Vijay, when the same two things were going on. There was a rogue nation that was attacking us, but yet you played a World Cup game. Why? That's the thing. I love mutton biryani says best to play in September, seems difficult to
I think
resume
September
now.
window would be pretty stacked. You would be having other teams playing against each other. Plus in September you'll also have Asia Cup. I think it's going to be very tough. You would really hope that the situation calms down in the next 48 hours so that you can resume IPL maybe in the next 10-12 days or so. But apart from that, I think any window, even if it's in August, the Indian players could be free, assuming there is no tour of Bangladesh. But then you would also want the players from the overseas countries to be available for those matches, and that might not really be the case, not just because of 100, but for their bilateral commitments too.
The only way I see it is the Asia Cup is also not held.
Asia Cup looks highly unlikely.
Because of the India-Pak tensions. And again, the acid test, forget this, your acid test will happen in September again. Are you going to play against Pakistan? That is the main thing that you'll learn. This is just a temporary solution.
No, I don't think where you stand right now, Asia Cup is going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I doubt Asia Cup happens. So there will be a window. Maybe Bangladesh tours also gets pushed. We don't know. But again, those are things that we're being speculative about. We'll
Best
get to
case
know.
scenario, I think, would be that things calm down in the country and it resumes.
Yeah, but if that is not to happen,
Yeah, then though.
You have to play at that period only. There is no other period. August and September are the only two potential windows that is there. Anything could happen though.
JS2 is asking, will India ever play Pakistan again in the World Cup?
will India ever play Pakistan again in a World Cup? Who's asking?
JS2MZ.
Okay, JS2 is asking us. Code name he's carrying. But I mean, see, I'll quote what Mr. Gavaskar said when I interviewed him short while ago. In the immediate future, I don't see it. But things, keep changing. Stances keep changing. When the World Cup comes about, the next is the T20 World Cup. Clearly, they're not playing on each other's soil. That is, I think, pretty much done. That is decided. On neutral territory, there is a possibility that they play if they come up in an ICC tournament, but everywhere else I think they'll try and avoid playing Pakistan. For now, definitely, whether it's Asia Cup, bilateral though again has been suspended for very long. I don't see a resumption of that anytime in the future. In an ICC tournament, it's a possibility, but it'll also depend on what the situation is at that time. And as Mr. Gavaskar also said the other day, it's too early to say anything now because things change in 15 days, 20 days, you don't know. So can't really hazard a guess at the moment. I think it's a question best answered when you're closer to that. If you ask anybody now, they will say don't play now. But then that's your sentiment now. Who knows what the sentiment is? And it's not even about our sentiment. This is a decision taken by the BCCI in consultation with the Home Ministry. So I think they will take a decision. If the Home Ministry says no, nothing doing with the ICC tournament as well, then they say no. Whether they ensure that India, Pakistan are in different groups, but then what happens if you come up against each other in a knockout? Some firm stand will have to be taken. In a group game you can avoid, you can say okay, we'll let go of 2 points, is fine. What happens again if you come out in a knockout after that despite letting go of 2 points? So there'll have to be a clear cut thought process in mind with which you'll have to go. Either you skip the ICC tournament completely saying if Pakistan is there we don't play, or you play them with the thing that okay, we'll be in separate groups, we only play if we come in the knockout. Or you say no, we'll be in the tournament, we'll let go of 2 points. If we come up in a knockout, we also give a walkover. if that is the other stance.
Just be a problem. I think ideal situation could have been, and even I thought that should be there, that you should let go of those 2 points, but then you have to stick to that
In a knockout.
theory in the knockout as well. Now, is that the right thing to do or not? I don't know, because then you're letting go of the whole tournament. 2 points, I understand. I don't think those 2 points really matter to India in ICC tournaments with the brand that India plays cricket with. But when it comes to the knockouts, then it will be a little dicey, because then you're letting go of the whole tournament for yourselves.
Yeah, in that sense, if you want to do it, then it's better not to participate.
Yeah.
And you skip the tournament, because imagine you were all invested in a tournament, you build up to it, and then you reach a semi or a final or whatever, and there's Pakistan, and you don't want to play, and you pull out. It defeats the purpose of playing that tournament altogether. So might as well not play it. Then if that is indeed the stance at that time. We've got a Shubham Garg asked a question about Babar Azam and Fahim Ashraf's story. You wanted to say something? Sorry, sir.
Yeah, this is the same thing. I mean, again, that same thing. I'll again reaffirm your test is going to come in September and February.
I think the major test
September
will
is
be in
women's World Cup.
and
So
major
you'll have to
test-
take a call.
And the major test will be in February only, in the 2026 T20 World Cup.
Yeah.
Because
No, it'll start with the women's. What do you do? Women's World Cup, what do you do? The major test is September. The profile of the tournament will be different, but the call is going to be the same, right?
But in there, what can be done is that maybe Pakistan plays their games on a neutral venue.
That is happening already.
Yeah, that is already happening. So the only thing is, you're saying that
What happens if India Pakistan have to play
in the group stages
Or
and
in the
knockouts?
What do you do? That call will have to be taken in September.
And that will be the same.
You'll have
call
to
for-
follow that up. No, but things also are fluid. What your stance is in September, what it is in Feb is also different. But I'm saying the first call will have to be taken in September.
See, what is happening now is just a smaller part in the broader India-Pakistan game when you look at it. You have never taken a strong decision. Are you
Now's
going
the
to take
time.
it now?
Yeah, you'll have to.
I'll wait and watch until September and February.
You think that they might just end up playing?
Of
against
course.
each other
absolutely,
at a neutral venue?
absolutely,
Of course.
it's
Yeah,
happening.
even I think so.
Yeah.
Because your
Because
administration,
you can't let go of the whole tournament because of this.
your
That's the-
administration and whoever are the power centers don't have the necessary gumption to do it.
But Sidvi said that's also the right thing to do, as in what according to you should be done. The best case scenario is this, that you don't go there, they don't come here, but you eventually will have to play them, right?
No sporting or cultural ties
But
with
Sidney
a
sir,
rogue
we
nation.
discussed
as
about
simple
this.
as that.
We dis-
Otherwise, you're going to see all the nonsense that you're seeing on Twitter. Yeah, you're seeing what Babar Azam is
Yeah.
tweeting. You're seeing what Fahim
What
Ashraf
is it? Can I see?
But we did discuss about this, Sidvi sir.
What-
Then
what is
for
it?
that, the whole, everybody...
One
in the
second.
ICC
Babar
has to-
Azam said there is no power on earth that can undo Pakistan. Okay.
He's quoted Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. So he is going to tweet a story for his own country.
Yeah,
na?
exactly.
Yeah.
So what
you
is
were saying,
unusual in
yeah.
that?
So
I would want my players to tweet in favor
Everybody
of my
has, all
country.
players have
everybody
done it.
has.
So has
in
Babar
times
Azam.
of a
And what is
warlike
Fahim
situation.
Ashraf's story? I want to see.
Yeah, just look at Fahim Ashraf also, because in times of a war-like situation, I'm not saying it's a war situation, war-like situation, you don't consume any of the enemy's propaganda. Whatever they do, they may be doing for their nation, but then our nation is at war with us. So what the best thing is, we don't indulge in any of their propaganda. The Pakistani actors, they also got hammered for their stance on Operation Sindoor.
This what Fahim Ashraf has done, I think, is really it's very cheap. I must say that I've just seen Fahim Ashraf's story now. Very cheap. Again, what he has done. But my point is, I am not disappointed because I don't expect anything from them.
Exactly.
Right. So my personal opinion is it's very cheap. Nobody should do that. What Babar Azam has done is tweeted in favor of his country. That's fine. I would want my players in Virat and Rohit, everyone to tweet in favor that we stand by our forces. Nobody can mess with India and things like that. Everyone writes. Obviously, they will write for their own country. That is fine. But yeah, making a thing like what Fahim Ashraf has made, I think that is rather cheap.
See, rather, you may say Babar Azam might be a rare outlier, but I still feel that in a time of a war-like situation...
No, I'm not saying you need to consume that or not. But
Yeah.
why should you be surprised if they're tweeting in favor of their country? That is what
Either
everyone is
Fahim
supposed-
Ashraf has deleted this story,
I
or
think he
maybe
has.
there's something else. Yeah. I think it's probably deleted.
No, it's not deleted. It's 2-3 days ago. No, it only stays for
Okay,
24
okay.
hours.
Yeah.
So,
But
but
then they
social
took
media never forgets.
Yeah,
They took snapshots of it.
Yeah, exactly.
So
I
yes,
was checking
and
it.
as far
But
as
just getting back to that Pakistan thing, I really wonder what ideally should the Indian team, India BCCI do now, according to you? Because we had discussed about this thing that to totally isolate them, India alone can't do that. You need all the members of the board,
Which is
ICC
not
to-
happening.
Yeah, so
I'll tell you why.
then the
Because you
sensible
tried
thing is
to
to
do
play
that.
them.
No, or you skip the
But
tournament.
that you won't do, na, then you're basically stopping your cricket. in a
No,
way.
your IPL will continue, your bilateral will continue. Don't have to play that.
But-
imagine how much of a loss it will be for world cricket if there is no India.
Yeah.
It will be devoid of any sponsors. You can say that no, we're not playing. At the moment, the BCCI tried to, get their way out completely in the. When the Champions Trophy venue was thing, and the rest of the boards sat neutral. They didn't take any sides, right? So eventually it happened like this, that we won't play in your country, you won't. So that seems to be the scenario. Either if you want to pull out, you pull out of ICC tournament, saying we're not playing any World Cups. Your cricket will continue. Your bilateral relations with the rest of the countries continue. You keep playing bilateral series. You have the IPL, you keep playing. Yeah, there will be no World Cup. And if there is a World Cup, if India says I don't want to, and the rest of the board don't want to support India and won't be neutral, they can have a World Cup without India. They will realize what the value of that World Cup will be in terms of monetary value, in terms of viewership value, in terms of television rights.
But the only problem with that is, won't the other boards want to convince the BCCI that we should stick to what
So-
was
But
decided?
if BCCI is told by the government nothing doing, they can't do anything. Doesn't matter
So,
if they try to convince them.
This is where all your hullabaloo of you being the financial powerhouse of cricket now starts to be questioned. You have to exercise it when the time is right. If India pulls out of any ICC major event or an ACC event, does the ACC event suffer or does India suffer?
But will the
or the
ICC
ICC suffers?
No, but will
Simple. Which entity suffers more?
The ICC, but ICC
There you
is
go.
also being led by an Indian only. At this
So,
That does not matter, na?
That
ICC
does
as a
not matter.
whole.
Yeah, but no one's
One
supposed-
person cannot take a decision.
Yeah, but
ICC
the
as a
ICC
board.
also would not want India to pull out, right?
Yes, of
and
course not.
everybody would not want, and until and unless the government does not give this diktat to BCCI that you should stop playing against Pakistan in any form, till then what can India do?
Which
And
is
the
why-
best case scenario for India then is to pull out themselves from an ICC tournament and let the ICC realize that what an ICC tournament without India means, or play with Pakistan.
which is
against
why
them.
I had stated that do your stakeholders have the gumption to do it? It never happened in Pulwama. It never happened in Kargil. Is it going to happen even in Pahalgam? Which is what I would want to understand, that if the government puts its foot down now, after what's happened in Pahalgam, and tells the BCCI, was clear cut, no sporting or cultural links with a rogue nation, then the BCCI will have to follow.
But then that has to happen with all other sports also. See, remember
has to, yes.
the other day we discussed that, how a tennis team, had traveled to Pakistan for
Yes,
a Davis
Davis
Cup
Cup,
tie.
yeah.
About, I think, 10-12 years back, a squash team also traveled for a major event there. Then everything has to stop at that point.
Yeah.
There is
you have
another. We are also forgetting one more thing. There is an acid test coming up in the next 1-2 weeks. World Squash in Chicago. What if Anahat or anybody of the men's players meet a Pakistani athlete? Do you now, in the backdrop of all of this, say no, you don't play with them? I'll be waiting and watching for that also.
I just also want to address, we'll find out what is the stance, and whatever is the stance, as we've just, concluded, has to be common for all sports. You can't have it for one sport. It has to be common overall. We'll know what the stance is, but remember, there cannot be a permanent stance. Stances keep changing because relations between countries are also fluid, diplomatic, things. I'm just giving you India-Pakistan example also. There have been times where you've had talks, you've had trains, and you've stopped it, you've been at war. It has been fluid in the last few years. So that's been the case. Now, like Pavan, our producer, has put this tweet out about Ambati Raidu, where he put a tweet yesterday saying an eye for an eye makes the whole world blind, quoting Mahatma Gandhi. And I see that there have been people who've supported him. There are also people who've put in a lot of hate and are abusing him. My only 2 cents in this is, why should you be abusing him? There are 2 ways of looking at things. I may feel that the war is fine because after what happened in Pahalgam, the right thing is to do that. There could be somebody who is anti-war completely or anti-violence, both what happened in Pahalgam as well as military action taken later. That's also fine. There are 2 different worldviews looking at a situation. Each of us is entitled to do that. You are entitled to your view. If you think war is the right thing, that's fine. If somebody feels that no, don't do war, find a solution in somewhere else, because as he goes on to explain, people die in that. There are civilians who died on the border. There are people who are in the armed forces who will die. There are families there as well, so even they'll be affected. Yes, you can equate it to saying that there was a Pahalgam attack as well, people died. So what should we do? Should we continue with this? So there can be another view, is my point. I'm not asking anybody to change their view. Whatever your beliefs are, whatever your views are, it's good. You keep it to yourself. I will have my view, Siddharth will have his view, and we can all have our different views. But my point is, for you to troll Ambati Raidu for a view that he has, which is anti-war, which is quite a reasonable view to have for 50% of the population, and quite a reasonable view for 50 other percent who really are baying for blood and want some sort of retribution. That's also a valid view to have for 50 other percent. Why should he get trolled and abused for having that view? I can't understand. He's not written anything that's anti his own country or is anti-India. He's just anti-war.
That is the thing. See,
I mean, when US took on Vietnam, they went there and they fought. There were many Americans who believed, yes, that was the right thing to do. But there were many who believed that no, you should not engage militarily and kill a lot of civilians and engage in guerrilla warfare with the Vietnamese. So there can be views about anything. There is war happening in Russia, Ukraine. There are many Russians who are against it. A lot of them are sports people who came out and spoke against it as well. There are other Russians who believe that this military action is needed. My point is that why can't we have space for all sorts of views?
always remember, in a country which is in a war or in a war-like situation, there will be views. Opposite sides of the spectrum will always come. You have to take it with it. You have to take it, because everybody can't be on the same boat. There are some people who believe that, supposing, what if we are all sitting, I'll parrot the liberal line here. What if we are all sitting here, okay? Oh, we are in the comforts of our AC rooms and we are all preaching war, war, war. How foolish does that make? If it comes to your doorsteps, a city gets ruined, imagine the amount of time it will take for us to recover and recoup. We will pay for it. Our upcoming generation will pay for it, because it's taken us 10-15 years to rebuild. Just ask Germany. Look at Germany after World War II. It took them so many years to rebuild. Look at what is going on in Israel, Gaza also. But at the same time, who is right, who is wrong, we can't say anything about it. Those who say anti-war are also right, not wrong. Those who propagate war are also not right and wrong, given the circumstances. Circumstances is the key. So you will have all these kinds of spectrums. I mean, if that was the case, America wouldn't have been so divided during US's offensive against the Viet Cong in 1975.
Vishal Panchal says that, I know this is a sports channel, but thank you for stating country's situation is far more important than cricket. Thank you, Vishal. Appreciate your telling us that. Pawan, I think we have some more. Okay, Pronit, huh?
I think this is a pragmatic decision by BCCI. No point having IPL when there is panic in one part of the country. Really feel for RCB and my team BBKs.
Yeah. By the way, on a lighter note, the internet is filled with RCB memes, and Joe. That is one season, but all I'd like to say is, one, the IPL is not over. It may still resume. And two, RCB was doing very well, but they had not won the title. There have been previous seasons also where they've done well.
2016.
It's a long haul to reach the title. There are good 3-4 contenders, more than 4 contenders who could really lift the title at the end. So why even assume that,
I don't know if whenever it resumes.
We'll get to know. No, people are saying, what if it does not get resumed? This season only gets washed out. We don't know.
That won't happen.
Shubham Garg has a question that do you think it's time for BCCI to use its financial power to isolate Pakistan? Ask England, Australia not to tow Pak. If they do, then India won't tow Australia or England.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
And I think the BCCI, this is what happens. A lot of time, that's why I'm saying, sometimes you can set a country right, not by just going on war and risking your own people, by you're flexing your muscles like this. By saying that, fine, I liked what they did with the Indus water and various other things that they're doing. You've suspended trade and things. I'm also believing that India is diplomatically ensuring that, today was, I think, Pakistan's meeting at World Bank trying to ask for money because they're in a bad shape. You use your diplomatic power there to ensure they don't get those loans. Hurt the country this way. There are ways and means to bring a country down to its knees without really engaging in war where a lot of damage can be done to you as well. Or there is a chance. Yes, you will probably, do far greater damage to Pakistan than they'll do to India. That's how military stronger we are, of course. But that's not to say that there won't be damage at our side. Why would I want any I don't want even one of my countrymen to be hurt. Not one civilian, not one army person. I don't want anybody. So if you can do it without that, like through other channels, through cricket, through the Indus Water Treaty, through various other means, do it. Teach them a lesson through this. I think it's a better, smarter thing to do. Dhanush, we've already tried to answer Raidu's tweet. We've dealt with that. Thakur says, okay.
Sir, it's easy to say ICC will be hurt. Maybe for the first or second event they get hurt. But what about India? IPL without international players is also SMAT. It's easy to say keep out a World Cup. But again, Thakur, you are mixing up things here very badly and out of context also.
And also India won't tour those countries, right? Because of that. So it's a very big loss to them as well, because Australia and England are definitely second and third as far as the financial power is concerned in world cricket. But all the money that's coming...
India
and the rest of the world.
Then doesn't matter.
Still the second and third.
It's like Usain Bolt runs.
Yeah.
First, he is first. Second, third is...
Yeah, doesn't matter. Even though they are
somebody far behind.
I'm saying whatever it is, they're second, third, far behind. They're still, because they have the support of the Indian board, because India travels them, plays 5 matches test series. That gives them so much revenue. The BGT was one of the most viewed test series ever. That was because India toured them for 5 tests. India will tour England for 5 tests. They will make all of the money from that only, no other.
Plus, see, I'll tell you, if it does reach a situation like that, I think foreign cricket is going to suffer. You're saying that SMAT, a lot of players will pull out of their international contract because they'll make more money playing IPL than that. Those boards will have so much to lose. This will not become an SMAT. They will say, we'll play IPL. We are happy to play IPL.
No, they can play all the other foreign leagues as well, where India have the teams.
No, I'm saying in case if they gang up, which is not going to happen, but even in the worst case scenario, they'll be happy just playing IPL.
India will be the strongest.
Yeah, so the other countries will gravitate towards a stronger power. I don't think they're going to isolate us.
Have never used your financial clout.
One question.
And you've never used whatever it is when the government has never leveraged it. So that is why I don't think we are understanding the broader situation here. Vishal Panchal, I wish the world isolates Pakistan for terrorism. Geopolitics is tough, but can BCCI, using its power, make ICC ban Pak the same way as South Africa was banned during apartheid? Again, Vishal Panchal, the apartheid situation, I know it is apt, but at that point in time, Australia, England were all kind of proxy, if you may say, behind South Africa. The problem arose when the dominant power at that time, the West Indies, decided, okay, we will not go for obvious reasons. They had the backing of India and Pakistan. Ironically, on the same stage, India and Pakistan were unequivocally against apartheid. Now, because of that, they said, okay, there'll be a divide along color lines and to destroy cricket. So they said, okay, ban South Africa. But here, India is the financial power. But who is behind India? India may have to take everything unilaterally in that sense.
No, but I agree with Vishal. If you really come down to it, if you really attempt it, if you push for it, you can do it. I think BCCI can. They've not tried it, but if they try to flex their muscles, it won't happen immediately. It'll be a tough road, but I think you can do it. That's where your financial might is. If other countries, even if they resist in the beginning, will have to fall in line.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And I think a lot of people across the border also feel that a lot of money that India makes is also because of India-Pakistan. But what everybody should realize is that that's a very small chunk of the whole money that BCCI makes. It's not just the India-Pakistan. IPL gives you so much money all throughout the year. So if that goes out as well, I don't think it's going to hurt India that much.
Exactly.
I think we talk about that one rescheduled test of India versus England. How big of a loss was that for the England and Wales cricket board? That you had to reschedule it later.
Every country asks, come to us, play for long, and have bilateral series with us because of India's might. Try and push it. Who knows? Yeah. Thakur,
It's easy to say.
There's a question above that.
Bro, 7 days are now. Yesterday we won Karachi, Islamabad, Lahore. Today we will other parts. After 7 days we can host IPL final.
Please show Thakur's question to everyone. Thakur, if 450k Thakur is being naughty. He's put a smiley emoji.
But again, either he's typing.
By the way, I'll tell you what, if the Indian forces come to it, you could have breakfast in Lahore. Who knows?
Ice cream is the thing that's trending.
Ice cream?
Yeah, because that one soldier said that next juice ice cream will be in Lahore.
Ice cream. I know. Don't worry. But that's what I'm saying. On a serious note, you can make all jokes that you want. On a serious note, who knows?
But already half of it has been taken.
Well, he's in Gurdaspur actually. Because he says it's easy to say they need war for people in Delhi, Mumbai or big city. I live in Gurdaspur.
Thakur, you're in Gurdaspur. I've stayed in Gurdaspur, by the way.
Yesterday, full night I heard sirens. You can't even leave home. Even I can afford. It's not easy. Who said war is easy?
That's exactly what when I pointed out what a Raidu is saying or whatever. You have to be mindful of what and how people get affected. By the way, Thakur, let us know how Gurdaspur is. I miss it. It was a lovely place. I stayed 2 years. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Very close to the border. Very close to Pathankot and Amritsar as well. Very close to Batala.
Yep.
And near the river as well.
Yes, it's a nice place. Machli ki aankh. Idiotic media revealed players' travel plan yesterday.
How does that matter? Machli ki aankh. I mean, that's why I'm saying try and use some sensibility. The players were not the target. They're not under threat. Media revealing things like, I mean, you're trying to tell me that what normal people know now, you got to understand intelligent groups of countries have far more in-depth networks and can find out. You're not dealing with terrorists. Terrorists don't have an intelligence system. They rely on what media tells them because they pick up from television or whatever, because they are a small little organization of jihadis or people who are just trained in shooting guns. They don't have that. When you are in a war-like situation in countries, the intelligence of each country, the networks are very in-depth. India knew exactly which places to bomb down to the house. How did that happen? Try and understand that. Where the team is traveling would be known at any point. You can monitor those things as well. So let's not get into that. It is that's why I'm saying people with less knowledge about how things happen. One time Machli ki aankh must have seen that there were reports that media showed about the attacks in Bombay and they revealed and that happened. This is not the same situation, sir. Understand how different things work. It's a war-like situation. Forget that. You can just open a Google map and get information about every little thing from India, a satellite view of even a chai ka dukan and which road it is, just randomly by that. I'm not even talking about other intelligence tools that countries have or the intelligence agencies have. I'm saying something as simple as a local person sitting in his pajama in any part of the world can see every little bit there. So those are things very easily monitored, and the players and everyone was not the target. It does not matter if it was revealed.
And Una, anyways, today everything got closed.
They are here, they're safe because that's not the target. Yeah, they're not.
Did the train thing have the players?
Yeah, they've already reached Delhi. Everything very safely sound because
the train only.
Exactly. Not understanding any information is going, because that's what I'm saying. It's also become a trend on social media to jump on the bandwagon, show that you're very woke, you understand things, whereas you don't understand anything. One time you saw that this one person was guilty in the media to do that, you start putting it for everything. Understand the logic behind everything that is happening.
17 years back, even there was a case similar 27 years back also. So
Yeah.
Shubham Garg is saying, said we India has not used financial power because we are inclusive as a country by nature, not exclusive. But I guess time has come to isolate some countries. I mean, again, see, it reminds me of this particular situation in the movie. I mean,
You two are anyways geopolitical expert.
I mean, I'll just give a movie example and then I'll say, one guy hits Sanjay Dutt on the cheek. He follows Bapu's example, a second cheek, but second time. And then he said, okay, hit me here. So he hit him back. Third time, I don't know what was said. Once and twice. On a serious note, see, Pakistan, you have to now have a bit of flexibility in your inclusion or exclusion. Whoever is a rogue nation to you, you cannot accommodate them in any style, be it culture or political or sporting wise. You can't do it. That's why. Pahalgam was the tipping point. After this, if you continue to play with them, then I'm sorry. Establishments in this country, you should have zero faith in them. That's the way. Shubham Garg, in current settings, South Africa and England cricket board are running because of Indian franchises. They can't afford to take on BCCI or India in any manner.
That's exactly what
We've discussed that. Correct.
Yeah.
Dhanush.
Can we expect 2 matches to happen every day? Qualifier 1 and eliminator
Also
would
what we
happen on the same day to make sure a tournament
No,
ends
I think
quickly.
what will
Won't be
happen is
needed.
that you'll make sure that the league stage matches happen, finish off in a week's time because there are about 12 or 13 left, and then in the last week you have 1 day qualifier 1, eliminator, then after a day's gap you have the qualifier 2, and then after a day's gap
It's
the
all
final.
about you will make it happen because of the broadcasters. I don't think they would like having 2 games.
It's
every
better
day.
to have IPL rather than not have
You
the
can
IPL.
still, I don't
That's
think it's
also the
going
point.
to be that much isn't even left. You just need 2 weeks window, and I think you can do it as the schedule that is as of now, 1 game each day. You can still make it happen with 1 or 2 double headers on weekends. You can still make it happen according to me. Just 2 weeks you need.
Akshay says, Nikhil sir, please take legal action. There are many persons from India and Pakistan who use your image of Pakistan visit and saying you're anti-national. That's fine. Why should I take legal action? If they think my visit from there has either made the relations worse or good or whatever, then
Good. Nowadays people are thinking it's
Whatever.
made good, that you have done the job for us.
that's fine. Why should I take legal action? Let people do what they want. Praveen says there is a latest video of Babar, Harris, Abrar having a tea party. This is their reality. They keep doing this tea gimmick every other day. Nikhil, no matter how good they were to you, they're all the same. Maybe you're right. I think all of that, I've pointed that out. All of that they've done is in real bad taste. That's very unbecoming of anyone. And it reflects on them. So,
The tea thing has some reference.
Yes, it does.
yeah, Shashwat ko every day you have to do GK classes
Now
with
I
us.
know. Now I know.
Every day 10 questions about anything other than cricket he has to be told. Okay, Pawan? Anything in the world. Basic things.
And he needs to have for cricket.
No, he,
We can vice versa.
you teach him 10
10
things about cricket, he'll
Yeah.
teach you about the world. Okay. King D says just declare the second place team the winner of this year's IPL. First team already has won the IPL one time. That's very basic. Ashish is saying, what would you like to say all the cricket guru and commentators who asked for Indian team to travel to Park for Champions Trophy?
Did,
No,
most of our
nobody.
cricket guru and commentators say no?
Nobody.
Not in
I
India,
can't.
I can think.
I don't think so. Aditya Kavlikar says, if war goes on for 1 week, we will have 13 team for next year's IPL on a lighter note.
Yeah.
Okay.
Planning that.
Okay. Chalo, on that note, anything else?
Nope.
Anybody wants to add?
Wait and watch. That's it.
We'll take your leave. Thank you so much for joining us live broadcast. If you're joining us late, do check out the entire video. We've tried to answer any question that you may have had on your mind related to cricket. In fact, not only cricket, we've tried to give you even a worldview. So do check the entire video out. Take
Yep.
care. Bye-bye.
Nandri, vanakkam.
Eat your vegetables and don't
Oh.
It's the start of the day. One time only we say, na, in a day.
One